I'll second it. Those in favor, all right, any discussion on the agenda and changes?
Two Rivers was looking for approval of the flyer for the Thriving Communities public meeting. Do you guys want to tack that on there?
Sure.
Okay. Not gonna be here, so. Anytime, right?
Whenever it fits. Yep.
Okay. Put it at the end. I'm sorry. Any, anything else? All right, all those in favor of accepting the agenda as changed? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Public comments.
Yeah.
Talk about the first.
I saw on the agenda, that's why I came tonight, is on number 9, that you're gonna look to set the date for the public hearing for the flood regulation, and I was thinking that you should wait until after our meeting on Tuesday, because that was the meeting that the planning commission approved the draft of the flood plan and just send it on to the board. And so, you know, we still have to have that discussion and see if that was a publicly corrected meeting and everything. And so you're doing an action that maybe needs to be redone by the planning commission.
So noted. I don't think we had any. I don't think there's any change. Based on that, though, it was a duly warned meeting.
So I don't think that's been confirmed yet.
Okay, well,
I mean, I think that's what's a question that still needs to be acknowledged, because the agenda wasn't posted on the website or any of the public meeting sites specifically for that August 6th meeting, as well as the September 3rd meeting. And so that's what the violations that I wrote up are specifically on those, but also we can question it before that.
Do we just want to take up this item now, or do we want to, because we're getting into specifics?
I think we should talk with planning commission about this.
Yeah, I think I was just saying that, I think it's best for them to do that till after they hold the hearing, which is Thursday.
This Thursday?
This Thursday, they're setting it for 7 o'clock. They are holding a special meeting to discuss it,
Well,
the planning commission.
Gio will be here later, right? For,
Yeah,
so,
let's see what Gio has to say about that. Can you stay for a minute?
Sure. And then my other question was, the select board used to sign an inclusivity statement, but I noticed that you haven't done that for a couple of years. Are you not doing that anymore?
What is an inclusivity statement?
Maybe Victoria can.
we approved one, no need, does it need to be approved every year?
What do you mean by an inclusivity?
So on the website, you guys have an inclusivity statement that the select board members sign that's stating they will make sure they are getting all the opinions and everything of the townspeople, but the last one that was signed by the select board was in 2022. So I just am asking if you do that anymore.
There's rules of procedure that they do annually in March. That says like where the postings go and that sort of thing.
No, it's specifically called an inclusivity statement that's on your website. And signed by the select board that was there in 2022. So you guys were there in 2022. Do you remember?
Well, I remember we approved it. It was put out by the, I don't know if the league did it. It was a pretty long.
That's the declaration of inclusion, which is different. That's not
Yeah,
what Sandy's
no.
describing.
Right. I don't know. I found it on your website and
It's
I
not
noticed
ringing a
that
bell.
it was
Sorry.
just done in 2022. But not done again. I just thought it was a really important statement and that the select board signed it and signed on to it. I just think it was really important. I was really glad to see it and find it, but I realized it hasn't been done for 2 years. And so I didn't know if the board was still.
I still haven't heard a definition of what it is.
Declaration of inclusion.
She said that was something else.
This was adopted on November 1st, 2022, so it must be, and it's not long, I can read it to you right now.
Yeah, well, and that was just a one time.
Yeah.
Always the thing, not an annual thing.
Well, it sounds like a good idea, Sandy. I mean, I'd look at it and sign something like that.
Yeah, I think it's good. If
You-
you do board member,
I'm-
what,
Yeah. I'm not sure it says what you're thinking it says, though.
that you're for that, about inclusivity of hearing the opinions of as many of the townspeople as you can.
Yeah, it does, well, I mean,
It's short.
it is short. It says the town of Royalton condemns racism and welcomes all persons regardless of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, gender identity, or expression, age, disability, or socioeconomic status, and wants everyone to feel safe and welcome in our community. We formally condemn all discrimination in all its forms, commit to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community, and will strive to ensure all of our actions, policies, and operating procedures reflect this commitment.
That's the one I remember we agreed on.
Yeah.
Oh. I just wondered if you were doing it each year, or it was just that year.
Apparently not.
I think Victoria's right. It was a one-off that was going that.
It's a
number.
statewide initiative,
yeah.
actually,
Mhm.
they were seeking all of the towns to affirm that statement of inclusion. It was a one time.
And so it's like
This is
good
the
for
thing.
forever.
Oh. Yeah, I mean. I don't think anybody here is gonna have an issue
No, I
with it, yeah.
Are you suggesting we
don't know, I just thought it was a nice.
freshen it? Like,
Yeah, I think, I
It's
don't know,
not a bad idea to do every year, like when there's when it's a new board, to be like, we're all gonna be,
yeah, that you're gonna do that.
I don't mind that idea.
yeah,
Up to
fine
you
with
guys.
it.
It's up to you.
Should we go now?
Well, it's not on the agenda, so we can't
Yeah.
approve it, but you can put it on for the next meeting and reaffirming or reapproval of the. Or maybe we should, try to get it into the, when the select board reforms every
Yeah.
town meeting, put it on that schedule.
That's a good idea.
Here you go.
Okay, and, are you here for public comments? I don't remember.
No, I'm here for that agenda. We know everybody out there.
Are you done, Sandy?
Yes, thank you.
Are you waiting for somebody else or is it just you?
Oh, should
Well, it's almost 6:40. You might as well come on up to the microphone and,
Okay, where would you like me to?
the microphone's that.
Okay.
So one of those two chairs would be good, yeah.
Grab a seat.
Intimate discussion. Good. So my name is Eric Sakai. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Orange County Parent-Child Center. And I'm standing in for Erica Hoffman-Keese, who is the Executive Director of the Green Mountain Economic Development Corporation, who is either up in the air somewhere or still stuck in Salt Lake City, waiting for her plane home. But I'm here to just give you a quick update on the Randolph Childcare Project. I don't know how much you know about it, but since Royalton is one of the towns in the service area of the Orange County Parent-Child Center, we should probably be called the Orange County plus 2 towns in northern Quincy County Parent-Child Center.
It's a long name.
Yeah, and it makes for an awkward acronym, you know? But just a quick update, because it's unfortunately, this project has been a long time in coming, and we're getting closer. It's a partnership of the Orange County Parent-Child Center and the Green Mountain Economic Development Corporation, who is funding the project and serves as a landlord. They've purchased one of the buildings in the former VTC Enterprise Center on Route 66. I think originally it was the Du Bois and King building. And we're in the process, or we are going to renovate it and turn it into a childcare center that ultimately will serve 88 children in our service area from 6 weeks to 5 years. It's being done now for a variety of reasons in a phased construction, where the first phase will be the first one floor of the building, which is just down the hill from the Weld Hills, you know, on 56. We'll start out with the upper floor with serving 65 kids. And we are hoping that the final drawings are into the construction manager. We've applied for a community development grant. And if all goes well, we're planning to start construction if all goes well, next month. We got a rude surprise back in January where we were sort of caught in our unawares by just exploding construction costs. And so the price of the project skyrocketed considerably. And so we had to do some initial fundraising, but we're now at a point where I think we're hoping to start construction next month and open in July of 25 with the idea of enrolling children in the fall, in September of 25 in that first phase. And then the second phase, the lower floor of the building, would be open the following year, in 26. I probably don't need to tell anybody that childcare is a pretty dire need throughout the state, throughout the country, really. And so 88, hopefully 88, or even initially 65 childcare slots will make a big difference. I mean, I know young parents they're on waiting lists in every place in about a 30-40 mile radius, hoping that there'll be an opening. So we're hoping that this will help alleviate that need. Parent-child centers do a number of other things besides childcare, parent education, play groups, resource referrals, a variety of things in addition to caring for children. So I think it'll be an asset to the entire area, and the location of the building just down the hill from exit 4, I think is going to be really convenient, not only for people in Randolph, but people who commute to Randolph from other places who need a place for their kids. So basically that's all I wanted to update you with, because as I say, I think because Royalton is one of the towns in our service area, because this project has been a long time in coming. We actually started this back in 2018 and have been plodding along, making progress, but it's been slow, and COVID didn't help anything, of course. But that's it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So you talk about it being in your service area. Are you only open to the towns that?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there are a number of services. For example, we provide food shelf services as well as sort of emergency funds for things like electricity shutoffs, and basically any parent, any family that came to us in need, we would serve. We do have 15 towns in Orange County, and as well as Bethel and Royalton, that are sort of specifically in the service center of the Orange County Parent Child Center. But our services are pretty much open to all families.
What do you need from us? Just,
Don't need it.
Just so you know,
Just need to fill you in.
I
And
read about it in the Herald.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's as I said, it's and you know, it's a tough road to hoe for childcare
Okay.
centers. There's a small one in Randolph that's about to open, and but the need's there for sure. And I'm sure you folks need more paper, so I can leave some information sheets here for you. Thanks for your time.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah.
88 slots is nothing to sneeze at.
It's-
It's a lot.
It will be, I believe it will be the largest childcare center in the state, once it's at full capacity. The first phase is just 65, but when we get to 88.
Yeah.
Can I ask how you're recruiting your help?
Yeah,
Recruiting staff.
Yeah.
That I will own as a tall order.
That's That's a different.
How, if you're asking how, one way is that we're in touch, for example, with Community College Vermont, which is one of the institutions that has an early childhood education program, as well as Vermont State University, trying to get a pipeline of workers going. Since you asked, I'll just say, I mean, I think one of the challenges is that we're trying to overcome, I think, a lingering prejudice that childcare, early education is babysitting. And it's a low paying kind of dead end job, and it's not. I mean, I think we're trying to also boost this as a profession. It's a teaching profession, it's an education profession.
The reason I ask is that I used to work at a tech center.
Mhm.
And they had an early ed. And it's something that close. I mean, they all go through like CPR for infants and everything else like that. It's good, but oftentimes it's pretty spread out, like their placements for internships and something that close to the tech center. And you could encourage the school board down there to
Oh, believe me, we plan on doing that, the Randolph Tech Center in particular. However, here's the problem. At this point, as I understand it, there are only 2 students enrolled in the early education.
that's,
Randolph.
they just have this big. I think it'll bounce.
I hope so, because that's
That was an administrative problem.
definitely, that's one of the places.
They're
we hope
right
to-
there.
Yeah, they're right there, the transportation, in other words, we're right now in Tunbridge. And that poses some transportation
Yeah.
hurdles, but being just up the hill from the tech.
That's perfect.
It is, absolutely.
And they
We're
would
really
welcome,
hoping,
they would welcome it.
we're hoping that program will grow and prosper.
are you involved with the one in Tunbridge?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the board that I'm on for
Okay.
the Orange County Parents.
The road the other day.
Anyway, well, thank you for your time.
Thank
you.
you.
Planning Commission.
No, great. I've got 2 items for you guys. The first is, we have that class 4 road recommendation that we ran by you guys, and you guys basically said we should let it sit until we want to make them into trails, and you should let it sit till that lawsuit's settled in Tunbridge, which is fair enough. But we got to thinking that there's no reason that we can't, especially take a road like Block Blue, which is unpassable now, and make a path out of it. We can still keep it a legal, a class 4 road, but we could put a path right down it. And so we have an estimate, but not an estimate, we have a quote from Upper Valley Trails Alliance for $3,900 to make that into a path, we're calling it a path, just to make sure no one thinks it's a legal trail. They gave me an estimate about $700 if we do a work day to get the up to Town Road 21, which we'd like to call the Wildcat Trail. So we can get those 2 done. I would love to get them on the docket for next year for those guys. This year's all wrapped up. But if we ought to have an authorization for the money, I can go to those guys and say, hey, let's do this. So we would like to request a sum not to exceed $5,500 to do those 2 projects, and it might be a great place for the Betterment Fund money. And I can get on the project for list for next year. Would be like first one on the list.
So the money you're asking for is going to who?
It'd be the Upper Valley Trails Alliance would be doing the work.
It all goes to them.
Yeah, unless they're subcontracting to other people, and I don't think they do.
Is there anything else you're gonna need for like signage or anything like that?
Yep, we're planning on signs at the start of both roads. So we,
Included in the money you're asking for already, or?
that's in that, it's rolled up in that 5,500, not to exceed 5,500.
Okay.
Does it include parking? spaces, or they gotta park on the edge of the road?
Our recommendation is not to park on, Post Farm Road, because it's pretty narrow there. But they could actually pull into Blas Baloo at that point and park anywhere along there. And since it hardly gets any traffic, all you have to do is keep one lane open. So we weren't thinking of any parking. We were just thinking of side of the road parking.
Side of the road by Allen Frost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, none of those roads are very traveled, so it's not like it'd be a hindrance. And we don't anticipate, a million people a day.
The Waterman Road is traveled heavily.
What,
Waterman Road is traveled heavily, the Long Cow Road.
the shoulders, we parked there before, the
Yeah.
shoulder's big enough.
Okay.
So I heard from Bethel residents that they don't want this.
So what Bethel has said is they want to keep it a road.
Okay.
Did you hear something different?
Well, I know that there's a group of ATV enthusiasts who said they they don't want it to be, just for one thing or another, they wanna keep it open for all uses.
Yeah,
And is it in Bethel or is it in Grafton?
what would we doing the work?
Yeah.
Right at the start of the road on Waterman Road, there's no access to the road right now. We would make it a path, sorry, a path to get up to the road. So you can't drive, you wouldn't be able to drive it. And that's it, that's the only work we foresee needing on that, on our side. As far as I can see, nobody is ATVing it on the Bethel side. Because there's no sign of anybody going through, Bob Dean's, hayfield. The times I've been up there.
Do you have to get a different kind of right of way, because isn't the entrance off Waterman Road a little different than what it shows on the plan? Because I think it goes up by Frankie Benson's, but when we walked it, we went on.
Yeah, we went Dan Kenny's land.
Dan Kenny's land.
Yeah.
He's agreeable.
So I
Formally with him.
I have not spoken to Dan Kinney,
Yeah.
though he's a friend of mine, so that's
Yeah.
easy to do. But I did speak to Frank,
Yeah.
and Frank showed me where the road goes.
Mhm.
So he fully acknowledged, I told him what our plans were, and he thought it was great.
Oh, to use it through Frank's driveway.
Well, no, we won't go up through his driveway,
Yeah.
because he said that, the road goes
It's really
just to the
steep,
right
yeah.
of his driveway.
Garage.
I would make a motion to,
I-
can we do that?
I think one thing that would be, I think it would be helpful not to have the road just dead end at the road Bethel town line. So if you're gonna do anything with that road, I think you should establish what people are gonna do on the Bethel side.
They're gonna keep it as a class 4 road, so people could walk it all the way. There's nothing,
And you have some kind of formal agreement about that, or this is?
Well,
I-
it's a
I don't
class
think
4
that-
road.
I don't think we need one because it's a town road. They can't restrict access to it.
Okay, so I'm just trying to look,
Yeah.
are there plans to do anything different? And sounds like there isn't, so.
No, Bethel wants to keep it as like Tim said, they want to keep it as a class 4 road.
So you're wondering if the work will just stop at the Bethel line and like, just be like woods
Well,
or?
I was worried about having a change in class between. Bethel
Change
and
in
Royalton.
use, yeah.
Bethel and Royalton, and you don't want a road that crosses the town line and ends in the woods somewhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So
I
then
hear
people
ya.
start looking for a way out.
So currently, somebody could drive in from Bethel, drive all the way to Frank Benson's house.
if you want to ruin your car.
No, it's.
Well, if you ride a horse.
No, it's very fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would hesitate to take, well, maybe my, electric EV car, maybe not, but my truck, no problem. Not even an issue. You don't need a Jeep or anything fancy, but once you get to Frank Benson's house, that's it. You can't get to Waterman Road, you can see it, but you can't get
Yeah.
there. There's trees and a very steep bank in the way. So,
And that's the only bit where the work is gonna go on.
yeah, that's it. No other place in the road, the culverts are all good, there's no mud holes. We would just make a path and a sign, so people knew that they could get up there, and they could walk it all the way into Bethel.
And why not choose one of our roads that's fully in our town? I just out of curiosity.
This seemed to be the easiest one to do. Cause it's just a slight bit of work there.
Lost Blue is, yeah.
Yeah, in Blossom.
Well, that doesn't connect to a Bethel, like another, it doesn't have a connector.
He's talking about two different roads.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was
Yeah.
asking about the Bethel one.
That's the Wildcat one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I grew up using that Wildcat Road up with a horse and buggy,
Oh, cool.
going from Waterman Road to
That is wild.
Bob Dean's and Christian Hill and
That's
over to the
wild.
quarries. So,
That'd be so cool. I think it's a great idea. I think we should give him some money.
well, you started to make a motion.
I did start and then I got scared.
Don't be scared.
Yes,
Keep
Well, I
going.
am.
continue.
Oh, should I continue now? May I? Well, I make a motion that we allow the planning commission to use funds from the Betterment Fund, not exceeding $5,000, $5,500.
Second that,
For what?
to do some upgrading of paths on Blossbaloo and Wildcat Road. 2 class 4 roads.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion as presented?
Aye.
Alright,
I'm gonna say. Just for the record, it's gonna pass.
Okay, the 3 ayes, 1 nay,
It passes.
it passes.
Stuart, are
And
you
you're
abstaining?
abstaining?
I was under the impression the chair doesn't have to vote unless.
Chair votes.
You're a voting member, yeah.
You're a member, full member.
I will say aye.
So, great, thank you. The other item of business is, the planning commission, has discussed setting some new goals for itself, and, one of the goals it would like to do, and I want to run it by you guys, is, we think we have a lot of buildings, infrastructure here in town that none of it seems to have a plan. Some of it has a purpose, some of it doesn't have a purpose at all. And so, kind of, we've already started that process with the Crawford land of looking what to do with it. But we like to extend that to like the bank building, the Carpenter barn, things like that. What's our goal? What do we want? What's the highest and best use for those kind of things? And so, I wanted to run that by you guys to see if that, was acceptable to you. If you say, you know, hell no, we're not doing anything different, then what's the point? But, if you're open to, us studying and coming back to you with, some recommendations on what to do with those structures, we'd be all over it.
You say the back.
The old library.
Three on the planning commission?
No.
After just me now.
wait, what?
I was just, I thought there were 3 people here on the planning commission. so
No,
I was kind of.
2 former, 1.
Okay.
I was. I think
Go ahead.
that sounds, you mean like a list of what the options could be, what ideas, future plans?
Yeah. It might even entail like, why do we have this property? I mean, I have no idea what we're gonna take down.
Well, best use could be to sell it.
Right.
I think that sounds like a great idea. No commitment, just go ahead and come up with some ideas and see where it takes you.
Can I suggest he doesn't take away our only storage space? Just keep that in mind. The only storage we have.
Which one is
Yeah, I mean,
that?
that's
what-
part of what we look at is.
The old bank
where is the-
building.
Where is the
used
best
for
place?
town- oh,
Oh, okay.
So, of course,
Royal
we would
Village.
need
The
storage.
bay building and the carpenter barn.
Bank building would definitely use some work.
Yeah. No, we would need to know, we would have to look at what all the uses of, but it would not make any sense for us to say, oh, we're not gonna have any storage.
Yeah.
Here in town, because stuff, obviously, we would need storage, it's just like, where's the best place for that kind of thing?
And it's just ideas. It's not like we'd be locked into
No.
whatever they come up with.
We come to you with, some recommendations again, like we did in last 4 rows. And you guys can, do with it what you will.
So at this point, you are just looking for approval, we don't need us to vote on anything, do you?
No, I don't think so, I just wanna make sure that that's.
Before we spend time, just, if you were gonna say, no, you know what? Everything's good, spend your time on something else.
Right.
Your planning commission hat on now?
Yes,
Yeah. I couldn't quite read it.
it's, I try, yeah,
Yeah, I understand, that's kind of what I was expecting you were gonna say, was the process is, it's just part of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
What's this, that's the town property plan, okay.
The other thing we were thinking of, and we haven't taken it on truly yet, is that Royalton Future Study that was done a few years ago. To, not just put it up on a shelf, but maybe do something with it. Try to encourage, homeowners, landowners in the village to, maybe put in accessory dwellings and do things like that. So we haven't officially made up our mind to go in that direction, but.
Can you explain that?
So 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Two. The town got a grant, from Two Rivers out of Clichy, and they did a study of making,
No, I
development.
know all that.
Oh, okay, what you need then, Tim?
Then, no, what's accessory and what, like, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, so an accessory dwelling unit, so like if somebody had a fairly big backyard, they could put in an additional structure, maybe an apartment. And they could, because we got capacity in the water and sewer, they could tie in, and we have more housing.
Can't they do that now?
They can. Yes, but that's why we look at, Tim, why aren't they doing it? Is it because they don't want to, or because they don't know how to do it? Do they need someone to kind of help them out and say, here's how you get started on this process? We wouldn't be financing them, obviously.
One thing that we're running into right now is the people that are not on the town sewer are having septic issues with failing systems
Yeah.
and.
Right.
And so that would have to be part of your consideration
Sure,
is, can the system handle
sure.
it? There's also the transportation meeting that Two Rivers is planning for October, where they're looking for ideas. You guys, do anything with that, or, they're looking for ideas to actually implement some of these transportation improvements, sidewalks and, trails and all that throughout town.
Yeah, I told them about it, but we didn't dedicate any time to it, but I didn't know there was another meeting coming up. This is the first I've heard of it.
Well, not here. I believe it's middle of October, probably the. So,
That,
24th?
sent to us.
Yeah, it was.
know what day it is, I'm sorry.
I have it ready for that.
And take a note.
And so the email on board.
October 15th, Thriving Communities Grant, Royalton Academy Building, 6 to 8.
6 to 8, 15.
Tuesday the 15th.
And they're specifically looking for input from organizations in town. Not just the select board, not just the rec committee, you know, but, you know, get as many people involved as you can.
It's just outlook.
Could we let the law school know about that? Because students sometimes show up without cards. It might just be something that they would wanna, take part in.
Yeah, good idea.
I think they were. Calling Shirley was a top priority, or one of the top priorities.
Good.
There is a parcel land right in the middle of the village that's listed for sale. Behind Fish and McBride or that Tom Powers owns. It's listed on the market now,
There's a couple of them.
next to the church, Red Door Church
In the back.
in the back. Where Doria put in that foundation.
That Dr. Becky's old office.
And
Or Thomas owns that.
Hmm?
Thomas owns that.
yeah,
So unless that, I don't know if we're gonna head in that direction, but if no one, that doesn't raise anybody's hackles, then we might head in that direction as well.
let people know the program's available.
Right. And what their options are, how they can finance it, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, I guess we need to have a discussion about, one of the insanes here. About minutes and agendas for the planning commission.
We're meeting on Thursday night. And so we'll take action then.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to put, be more diligent about putting your agendas up and posting the minutes, because that is a requirement. We've tried to get everybody who has a committee to do this. You know, it's not just you guys, it's almost everybody has issues with putting their minutes up and getting them up on time, and we really need to work on that.
Agreed.
Good. So your meeting on Thursday, that's gonna be here
Yes,
at
7.
Kieran, yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that
for
works.
your-
Yeah, they sent it to me and
Okay,
everything. Yeah.
great.
I'm just saying, that's what I was saying. I think we have to have our meeting and find out, you know, acknowledge, rectify, figure out what's gonna happen.
Before item number 9.
That's right, that's all.
Why do we,
I would-
why do we?
Would- Tim,
Oh, Victoria.
So there are
Yeah.
statutory obligations for warnings and posting requirements. The select board, once they receive the draft flood hazard regulation, can schedule the public hearing for not more than 15 days. Within that
Prior
timeframe, so
to, yes.
if you, worst case scenario, if the planning commission determines to void their actions of August and September, and they revote to submit the draft flood hazard regulation to the select board, and you receive that at your next meeting, the earliest day that you could schedule the public hearing for that draft flood hazard regulation would be Wednesday, October 23rd, which is still within the timeline for
It is
your
within the
planned
timeline.
November vote.
Okay,
Yes. You have plenty of time, but we need to schedule because we've got to warn that in the newspaper and all of that stuff, so. You do need to schedule it,
Right, we can schedule it. That's what.
right,
Yes, we
Yes.
should continue on with number 9, scheduling.
yes.
Victor, did you ask the lawyer the question about that we had discussed that, it is the select board has the power to move on this ordinance, whether or not the planning commission brings it to them?
Their opinion was that since the planning commission started the process, it should still come from the planning commission. But that we have the appropriate time available to be able to.
But it is true that the select board could take this up.
It is true that the select board can take up such a regulation and then they would notify the planning commission of their intent. And the planning commission would then write a letter that says how the select board's intent conforms with the town plan. Yes.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
So if something happens and you don't have a meeting on Thursday, you don't have a quorum, something like that, we can take over and say, we're gonna schedule a meeting anyway.
Legally, yes, is my understanding.
And we have until when to do that? You said we're looking for the 23rd as the,
For the public
public
hearing,
hearing.
you can have your public hearing anytime between your receipt of the draft ordinance and the vote. So any time between the 23rd conceivably. If the planning commission, affirms and comes to the select board at their next meeting. That's kind of assuming nobody calls another special meeting, everything proceeds, the planning commission is on the select board's next regular agenda, that's the timing. There are other things that, if the select board were to call a special meeting to receive the draft flood hazard ordinance from the planning commission, if that's what they decide to do on Thursday. There are some variables, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the next meeting. Is that too late? But
No.
it sounds like it's not. So,
It is not.
It is not.
okay, very good.
Can I ask a question then? How come the select board isn't addressing my letter of violation?
Because your complaint is regarding the planning commission.
So,
But they're
So-
overseen and.
but the planning commission, it's
No.
the planning commission's error, so the planning commission takes up the response to the complaint.
That's how the open meeting law works, is that the
And-
complaint goes to the public body who committed the violation.
But then the select board, like you just said, can override anything that they do, and they have the ultimate power over they
The
appoint the members
The
and all.
select board has the authority to adopt the ordinance. That's what the discussion is. So with something like a flood hazard regulation or a town plan.
Yeah.
The typical process is that the planning commission would develop that plan and then present it to the select board and say, here's this plan we've worked on, and then the select board has to act on it, but it does not have to go that way. Statutorily, because the authority rests with the select board,
Right,
they could adopt a plan or write a plan and then say, hey, planning commission, we're doing this.
right,
And then the planning commission would, can write their letter of
Weigh in.
support or
Yeah.
dissent and weigh in.
I get that, but that's why I'm saying I don't understand if one of their committees is not properly warning the meetings or doing anything, that they don't have any power
They
to.
don't, because it's a separate public body. The planning commission is formed under Vermont state statute.
But they're appointed by the select board. They're not elected officials or anything.
But they don't,
But
it just
what,
doesn't work that way.
what would you have, if we could, what would you want out of it?
Well, I think what was important for me, sorry to cut you.
Yeah,
What was important is that Stuart said, we're seeing that our committees are not being appropriate, that the select board recognizes that and says that. That's what I wanted to hear, so I was really happy to hear Stuart say that.
mhm.
And not have the select board like ignore what's happening and what's going on with their committees. That's really what I was looking for. So I appreciated that comment.
But there's part of that I didn't say, and that is that I want the boards to cure themselves. If they have a problem posting the minutes on time, it's not up to us to go in and say, where are your minutes? It's something that they need to get on the ball and do.
And make sure they're
And-
like posted on
And
the.
following
bulletin
up
boards
in
and-
the future,
Yeah.
and doing it in the future as well.
Yeah,
And to me, that would be a stronger position for them to take it on themselves.
Yeah.
Than for us to ask them to do.
I
Well,
agree,
it's not just stronger, that's legally where it resides.
but what's important is to hear that the select board is recognizing that that's not happening with our committees. And that is voiced and stated. And that you're looking at that to try to make sure that that doesn't continue to happen. I think that's what's really important too. And that was my reasoning of this inclusivity and these things of saying, like, you know, we're trying to tell you, we want to be involved, we want to do these things, but if you don't post things properly, or you don't put them in, you don't put the agendas up appropriately, how do people come to these meetings? How do these people get involved, right?
Well, in this case, these meetings have been going on all summer. And so it's not like this is something that's coming up brand new. So,
Well, I honestly don't know how long they haven't been posting the agendas or putting up. I mean, Gio, when I asked about it, said it was Victoria that put up the agendas on all the bulletin boards, but I know that's not her job. And so she didn't do that. So to be truthful, it could have been going on for months and months and months is what my letter's saying. I just am recognizing it because of this flood hazard regulation, right?
well, I don't think they have been going on.
Well, you
months and
can't say
months
for
and months
sure, just
because-
like I can't say for sure, right?
I walk by that board in town pretty regularly, and I've seen them up there.
They're not at the Academy building. I go
But they
by
are
there
on
all
the
the
town
time.
website.
I think it's tricky because like all of these people are volunteers, right? Like we're all volunteers, you know, and it's like, we are so like tapped out as it is. I don't think it's like, it's just, it's hard. And I can see that
That's the,
there's room to fix that, but it's tricky because all these people are volunteering their time to do it. So I don't
No,
know.
I agree 100%, but we still have to follow the state statutes for public meetings. I mean, that's the
And that's what
bottom
we're trying
line.
to do.
That's the
We're
bottom
trying to
line.
get
Yeah.
on track.
That's right.
And the new
No,
law.
I'm glad.
you know,
That's
we're
what I
getting
said,
used
and
to.
I
We're not gonna
appreciate you
punish
recognizing
anybody.
it. Yeah. Well, as a taxpayer, I feel like I am being punished, right, in this town. Because I wasn't notified of all these things. And even when I talked to Gio, asking if I could come to a meeting before the draft was even done, he said, no. It needs to go before the state and get it approved and, you know, you.
Sandy, absolutely, I would
And
never have said
also-
that, I
and
don't know
also-
what makes you say that.
Hold on.
There's no way I would say
Hold
you
on,
can't come.
Hold
to a
on,
meeting.
these are public meetings, anybody can come.
And so,
There's no way I would say that, absolutely not.
all right, but you did say it to me, and so I respectfully disagree, and you said that it doesn't matter because we have to get it approved by the state, the draft, as well as the select board before it ever goes out to the public. We're still in the drafting phase, that's exactly what you told me. But it's beside the point, we're way ahead of that, so I'm just frustrated that this is happening in our town, and it's wrong, and I get that people are volunteers, but that's still part of the process, right?
And if, like, if it was my job to do that,
Right,
this is what I signed up for.
right,
And so we just have to understand, nobody's getting punished, we just gotta bring everybody up to speed.
right,
yeah, there's nothing nefarious going on here. It's people that are doing the best they can, and if they have fallen short, we're going to try to correct it.
and that's all anybody wants to ask and move forward.
Okay, great, then we're done. We've said it.
Why do you keep cutting me off? Like when
I
I
am
was trying
not
to talk
cutting-
at the planning commission, that's what I'm saying. What if you want people to be involved, you have to hear it, even if it's something you don't want to hear. And you keep cutting me off every time I talk, like you called the motion when I was at the planning commission, when I was trying to explain. And David Brandow sat at that chair and said, there's no agenda, you're right in the calendar. It says it's 6 o'clock and all of that, but you kept going on with the meeting even after I told you guys.
That is all true. I mean,
Then why, and then you cut me off and you didn't want to hear what I had to say. That's what's frustrating, and you're a member on the select board. Why didn't you guys say then, when you looked and knew,
Sandy, why don't you bring this up on Thursday night?
this is again,
Unless these guys wanna take it up here.
Well,
Well, we did have a previous select board had a timer for people to speak, and it was a 3-minute timer.
and I'm way past it.
So I don't wanna bring that back. But I would like to move on.
Sure.
well, that sucks that you feel that way, Sandy. I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, and hopefully that you won't feel that way the next meeting. I felt like that before in certain places and it sucks. So I'm sorry you felt like that and hopefully you won't feel like that in the future.
Thank you.
We have
That's it,
more?
that's all I got.
Okay, Gary, I assume you're here for the rescue squad program?
I am, what a cat, what a lucky cat.
Well, I can tell by the phone.
Bye, Sandy.
You know what your term is? Like,
I know,
Still
probably,
there, is it still hurt?
well, not too bad, not too bad.
What did you do? Let's keep that out of
You
the
don't
way.
want it,
Yeah.
you don't want it.
He needs a better eye doctor.
I hope you guys come back.
Jerry's thumb is not an agenda item, respectfully.
I see it right here on the agenda. Hey.
avoid the whole thing.
Yeah.
Your eyesight's better than his.
It was our job to come to you and ask for you to feel like our plan for a new rescue building conforms to everything here. And so we are, maybe you've all seen these, but we are just wanting to kind of check that box off and move forward before our architect gets too far down the line and we have to reel him in, which would make him grouchy, and that's good.
I like it. I saw Jay at a event last Saturday or Sunday, and he talked about it. The reasoning why.
It looks identical, actually.
Yeah.
Including the windows with the transoms.
Right.
Yeah.
First time when John looked at it, I brought over his house, no, that's our building. It's like, no, it's not your building.
I like this building, so I guess I like this building as well.
I think you're on the right track.
Is it gonna be the same color?
That has not been officially established, but I think every time we have a conversation, the conversation is, why would we change the color?
No,
So I think it will be the same color.
I'm just expecting.
We're gonna
more-
do something really shocking and let you know, but I think, yeah.
Even if it was a different color, it would still match, I think.
Well, what about the roof, actually? Is the roof gonna be the same?
It's gonna be bright red.
It says asphalt. Is it the same as
Oh,
this?
this is an asphalt.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yes.
So when you get a painting bid, then you have leftover paint.
Well, we're hoping you have a lot of leftover paint to start us off with.
Oh, boy.
I think Tom used it on the front of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think it looks fine.
I make a motion, we approve the preliminary design for the exterior of the building.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yes,
I second that motion.
they wanted to hear 5-0.
I'll see. See you crossroads after. Yeah.
So there's no like little map that shows which way the building's pointed, and I'm not sure.
This is facing 14,
Oh, it is, okay, so the garage doors are facing the driveway coming in,
facing
Yeah.
the river, the first branch.
okay.
Jerry?
This is the back.
The backside.
Where are you gonna tell me?
Nothing. It's a nice building. Where's the floor plan?
Well,
There is a floor
we
plan.
knew that select boards get bogged down at times, so we thought if we didn't put the floor plan, we'd say you're hacking our.
There's the floor plan on this one.
But I
Did you
can
want
send-
this roof plan? Sam?
Yeah.
Oh, you do have it.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
Promise, not the photocopy though.
I only gave them what you gave me. I didn't realize there was a difference.
Yes.
Stewardship is gonna
lounge?
end up one
a
together.
lounge?
Hey,
Jojo has her hand up.
Joe,
Wake up.
Joe,
Uh-oh, did we lose them?
She's frozen.
She's frozen.
I make a motion to change his measurement from 29.6.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was wondering if you'd be able to send me a picture of what you're talking about.
If you imagine the town office,
You pretty much got it.
Yeah.
I'll have them change the staff training area.
This mechanical.
Huh?
The mechanical closet is too small. No, seriously, it's way too small.
They're never big enough.
So you're gonna lose the bathroom and shower. I've seen enough, it's good.
We have the motion.
For a vote, I can leave you.
We had a motion and I seconded it.
We're discussing.
John,
I made the motion to approve it. It's like,
Okay, do we have any more discussion? All those in favor of accepting the exterior changes or design, say aye.
Aye.
I want a tree with leaves on it though.
Yeah, can we see what this looks like in summer?
that is a nice tree.
it's Bob Townsend and,
Yeah, so,
Benson here doing the testing. for
Yeah.
septic.
and that looked good,
Yeah,
so we don't have a report, that looked good. I think that's unknown, that's now known. The original plan had the fire, or the garage separated by a breezeway to the building, and Jay feels like we can put the two of those together and ask for a variance on the sprinkler system. So we're trying to get there as soon as we can to find out.
That's a big ask.
Well, but it's all first floor, the windows in the bedrooms can pop out. Anyway.
You can make fire, you can make a lot of fire separation wall
Right,
between those. I'm gonna guess you're gonna get it because didn't you have a fire marshal prior to the meetings? Okay. You notice he told us that after we approved it.
okay, good night, folks.
thank you.
Bye, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Jerry.
Never know, see me again. Table saw, Tim, table saw.
Seriously?
Oh. So I said he needed a good eye doctor, tell him where the blades were.
Warrants, has everyone had a chance to look at them?
No, you did, Nell has.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I really did. I got some issues.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
No, with the warrants, with the warrants? or
Yeah.
Just issues. in general?
Can I ask what before we approve this warrant?
Yeah.
What are the 7 net motion licenses from town of Hartford for $728? Anybody know?
I believe that's, a police thing, right?
7 net motion licenses. We have.
Yeah, that's from Loretta. You'd have to ask her.
License.
Also, I'm so confused about the wastewater facility. Is that not,
Confused how?
what?
Confused how?
I'm confused because I thought it was separate than the town. Is it not, is it a town?
the town owns the wastewater system, yes, it's in its own fund, it's not in the general fund, it's because it's an enterprise. So it's in a separate fund, but the town owns it.
So,
We talked
But we
about
don't own the water.
little businesses,
we don't
which is
own the water
confusing.
system.
we do not own the potable water system,
But
that
we
is owned and
own-
operated by the Royalton Fire District.
Okay,
Right.
the wastewater facility, we do own.
The wastewater
Yeah.
facility
It
is
has a
ours.
separate fund,
Yes,
but we pay the electricity.
I mean, we pay all of
All
its
of it,
bills
yeah.
because it's ours.
But
Right.
they're all divided up.
Let me sum that out, right?
They're all divided up
Simon
by
Construction,
department.
Simon's.
Or,
No, Simon's company does not pay any of those
No,
bills.
we
No,
pay,
they
no,
do
no,
not.
we pay them.
All of the bills for the wastewater system, including the contract fees
Okay.
for salmon operation.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I was confused because of the water being
Yeah,
separate,
water separate.
but the wastewater is not.
Wastewater is not.
And
Thank
one meter for both. Want to add a little.
And then
water.
the Dubois and King, bill, was that for North Road? Was
No,
that for?
the Dubois and King bill is gonna be for the Broadbrook slide, which is
Okay, yeah,
FEMA project.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought, okay. Okay. You know, and then I just. I also, the last thing I'll bring up. Well, other than the trash situation on the green, because it costs us money every month. A significant amount of money, I mean, you know, and it's not, the services are not what I would expect to pay that much money. So, I just mentioning that really quickly, as well as the cleaning bill. And it's just the bill is kind of, I've been trying to look at it on the warrants when I come in to see, just try to understand it a little bit better. It's just a really shoddy bill layout. And I just, it says what time they come in, but it doesn't say how long they're here for. And I'm curious about it. It's $11,000, $1,100, sorry. So
That's for 4 cleanings now.
What's that?
That's for 4 cleanings.
Yeah, I know. I was just curious, like how much time that is they're putting in. It doesn't, they don't say how many hours. They
No,
just-
it's a contract, yeah.
What?
It's a contract. We contract them $275 a cleaning.
Okay, okay. All right,
But that's that's. a
They
fair
do the
question.
PD too.
yeah,
And
I'm just,
They have to be certified.
no, that's not true. I asked her last time, I asked Loretta. They do not have to be certified, so.
Really?
$275 a pop to come in once a week.
One,
Yep.
yeah.
How many people for how long were you?
2 people, I don't know how long it takes them. Depends on if they're in a hurry or not. I don't know.
Shovel snow now.
Okay, thanks, Rita. I just wanted to understand those things better. Thank you.
Well, we've been talking about putting this out to bid for 2 or 3 years now, and it hasn't happened. So,
Yeah, I'm new around this joint, so.
Do you want to put it out in bid?
I don't know. I'll tell some people. Yeah, and I'll ask Loretta, but the motion licenses things are town of Hartford.
My assumption would be that it's related to the dispatching services.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I just didn't understand what. That was.
There's a lot of software involved, which sometimes has its own fees that we have to pay. But that's just my guess.
Do you wanna, put the, cleaning of the green containers up to bid?
The trash pickup.
If you're paying for something and you're not happy with the result, I mean, if I'm a contractor, I get fired or let go, or however you wanna put it.
Well, we had talked about taking away the garbage cans on the green because of the mess.
But we gotta do something else.
Or do we?
Well, I think it was taking those ones out to put different ones in. It
Yeah,
wasn't-
in the sidewalk project, they were gonna be upgraded.
Right,
Right. Well, and there was also discussion from Walter about budgeting for a more full-time buildings and grounds person to be
Right.
able to tackle some of those issues, which I think is part of your
Yes,
budget discussion
bigger picture,
process.
right. So, no, those are, I just had questions. I just wanted to bring those up on the warrants and then I can sign them. I mean, I already did sign them, so.
Sign that one.
Can I sign them, or do I need to?
Oh,
Our motion to approve.
Make a
Oh,
motion
that
to
one.
approve the warrant.
I didn't see.
Anybody else? All those in favor, signing of approving the warrants?
Aye.
I,
Aye, any opposed? Ayes have it, approval of the minutes as posted.
Make the motion, we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
In seconds,
I'll second that.
any discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
I didn't see the.
Water trough. It's been a while since we've seen that.
I know, so,
That's
the
for water.
the water trough was involved in an incident, at the end of last week. Somebody gave it a decent tap.
A real tap, 'cause it pushed it off its
And
base.
pushed it off the base, yeah, so. I contacted Mike Enright, who's a mason, just to say like, hey. Can you give us an estimate of the damage so that Loretta can include it with the police report for submission to insurance? But the bigger part of this conversation is that with the Chelsea Street sidewalk project, that whole intersection is gonna be redesigned and the water trough was going to be moved. So. Given that it is currently damaged, it has other old cracks that have been repaired and now it has some transfer from the vehicle on it and it would need to be put back on its base. The question that I had for the board was if you wanted to move it out of the intersection, possibly over to the town office so that we could look at getting someone to come in, do the repairs, clean it up, fix it up in anticipation that we'll be able to then put it back onto Chelsea Street when the sidewalk project is underway, probably sometime in 2026. That kind of gives us a year to find the appropriate people, get it fixed. And looking spiffy and then put it back. But that's up to the board. I did confirm with V-Trans that there is no issue as far as the historic preservation aspect of the sidewalk project if we were going to remove it. Presently and then bring it back, so it's
As
fine
long as it
project
comes
wise.
back.
They do expect that it would be put back, yes. I don't know if I assume everyone on the board has seen the project plan, but the plan for that end is for the sidewalks to bump out. And then there'll be a pedestrian way station in the middle, and that's where the water trough will go, is on that pedestrian way station. Very close to its current location, but not in that exact location.
I'm not 100% confident it's gonna happen in 2026. Something,
Neither.
so it might be away for 2 years.
I don't think we should remove it. I think it should be put back where it is. And put in an insurance claim to repair it.
I think that to get that historically correct is gonna be really expensive.
There's something that people do with, things like standing stones and things that are historically significant. Sometimes they replace them with a similar looking item. And I know we looked at the cost of replacing the water trough is gonna be very expensive because it's carved out of solid granite. But what I'm wondering is, could we look into maybe doing something else with it, like maybe, making a casting of the one that's there instead of replacing it with a new water trough, replacing it with a cast of the one that's there. That might be a lot cheaper. I don't know. if you-
It doesn't sound a lot cheaper
I'm,
to
I'm,
me.
I'm not gonna sign on to that, but that's just me.
I'm just throwing
Yeah,
ideas.
no, I appreciate the idea, don't take it the wrong way.
The town people were very, very vocal about the last time we talked about moving it. People don't want to see it gone. They want to see it back there. But it's, it's a target. People run into it several times a year, and I assume we got it fixed from when the plow truck did it. They just fixed the curb.
I mean, you can see it's been fixed a couple of times,
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's the granite things around it, and to be clear, my my question of whether it makes sense to move it really truly was just to make it easier to fix, because then, you know, you could hire someone that could come and work on it, not in the middle of the road. And repair it correctly and properly.
Well, I looked at it, that the basin hasn't been damaged in the accident, it's been just shoved off the big granite base.
That,
And all the temporary curbing that we put around a number of years ago, it's all smashed out of the way. Do you know what? Was the person impaired or what happened?
I'm not aware of any of the details of the investigation of the accident itself.
But the
Just-
repair should be covered under that person's insurance.
I would imagine that they would be, that's why we asked for
Yeah.
the estimate on the damage.
In all fairness, Victoria asked me for a couple names off the top of my head. Masons are giving like plumbers, which small. There is a person who does historic renovation from Montpelier. And he's probably at the very least a year and a half out, as I looked at him to do the one Chelsea pointed up. Just the pointing was for that was $86 a square foot, that's 1,000 square feet. To point it up, to do it in historically correct mortar and all that stuff. I suspect that water truck could be really, really expensive. But we don't make nice things like we used to. And
Right.
I'm kind of a softie for keeping those sorts of things around.
Me too.
Well, I don't think the suggestion was.
No, it's not.
To
It's
get rid of it. It's just, how do we go about fixing it and where at this point?
Well, we block off the road and they fix it. I mean, do you guys wanna move it? I mean, do you guys wanna move it out? I don't, I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't think
Wanna-
it should be moved out.
I don't think it should be moved.
Should moving it twice.
I mean, you'll have to move it twice
Yeah.
anyway, to be abundantly clear. You absolutely will have to move the water trough from its current location
Mhm.
during construction.
Yep.
And then place it back. It is going to move twice regardless. The question is whether you're going to repair it in place and spend money to keep it there and then move it twice after that. That's the difference, and that's why the question was asked, because
Well, maybe we need to get some numbers to look at instead of saying what if.
I think so. I think you're right.
Another company
Well,
that did
not-
the handy memorial for us,
Who did?
the handy memorial. we just did that.
They did a tremendous job.
Yeah.
It takes, these are specialists.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and that's I don't think it's a matter of cost really,
Yeah, no,
it's logistics, like, can they fix it in place properly, or does it? I don't have a dog in this fight, I'm just saying, I don't know. I
And
mean,
looking
does
at it, it didn't look like the main watering trough was damaged.
Okay,
No,
It's been
it's the
shoved
base.
off the
Yeah.
base
okay,
about this much and can be shoved back. And then that temporary curbing that's all around it, which has been repaired many times, is even mortared in. Can be placed back. I think Walter put it back last time.
I think before we act, I think whoever did the handy memorial, I would get their opinion. Would it make sense to do it here or would it make sense to do it offsite?
So it's fine with the board if I have conversations with different contractors about what to do about the trough, including moving it
Or
so
not.
that it can be repaired or leaving it in
doing it
place.
in situ, yes.
That's fine.
You
But
mean
I mean-
asking about
To get some additional information. Otherwise, I can just ask people like, hey, we need to push this back and kind of fix it. What's that going to cost? Versus,
I think you need to get information.
I think information would be helpful,
Yeah.
because if we could get somebody who's really an expert that says, yeah, you know what, take this off-site. And let's
Can we
fix
give
it
you a
right.
couple names?
as
I would love
opposed
that.
to- Yeah,
Yeah.
So John, you know that person who did the handy
I'll
memorial?
have to look it up.
I can give you the
It's a berry
person
group.
who does historic preservation all
of
over.
course it is, yeah.
The name of them. I've got the file somewhere. Or the file's buried in the brick building in Royalton Village,
In the bank.
in a box that doesn't give you much information what's in it.
Just for a point of reference, Chris Noble suggested moving at one time and an older gentleman in town told him, under no certain terms, I will shoot you if you move that. And Trish believed him that he would do that.
What?
The water top?
Yeah.
What? And perhaps that ends the discussion. I mean, is that
I'm
person
trying
still
to
around?
picture it
Because,
properly, Not get rid of it.
If you do move it, make sure that it's known that it's coming back.
yeah, I think if it should end up needing to be moved, we should have a party for it and a ceremony, to make sure everybody understands where it's going and when it's coming
We
back.
gotta
Yeah.
put something back in its place if it's missing.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll get one preservation person who I know.
Okay,
I'll look up. the
John,
name
if
of
you could do that
any
one, that'd be
memorial
great.
people.
Okay, so the next item is, public hearing, which is, we can't read until after Thursday, so we'll wait and hear what happens.
No, we can,
no,
we
we
can.
need to schedule that now, please. So, the first day to warn the public vote on the draft flood hazard ordinance is Thursday. I would like to get that warning into the newspaper along with the date for the public hearing. If the planning commission decides on Thursday to void the actions of their August meeting, which is one of the potential cures for the complaint, and then they revote to submit the draft ordinance to the select board. Assuming that the select board would then re-accept the draft ordinance on October 8th, which is a Tuesday. 15 days after that date is Wednesday, October 23rd. We had previously talked about maybe doing Tuesday, October 22nd, because that's regular select board as the public hearing. But realistically, if we want to be the most conservative as possible for a potential outcome, we could schedule the public hearing anytime between October 23rd and Friday, November 1st for the Tuesday, November 5th vote.
Give us the dates. Then I
For the
wondered,
Public hearing?
could the select board just adopt it like we did the ATV thing and then people petition to revote it?
Yeah, we talked about that and we said we didn't want to. Most of us did.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I
and
would-
we've already developed the article and where it's being
it's
printed
being
with
printed,
the
yeah. Oh,
general election ballot, so that's kind
Yeah,
of
okay.
sailed,
Okay,
yeah. But yes, you could have.
Yeah.
Chosen to do that,
So Tuesday, we need 15 days
which would be,
before November.
well,
So,
so it's, no. It's 15 days after Tuesday, October 8th, assuming that the planning commission voids their actions and then revotes to resubmit the draft ordinance to the select board, and you accept it on October 8th.
But there is a time that the meeting has to be prior
No, there is
to
not.
the vote.
There is not,
Oh, that is so weird.
there is not.
I thought it
And
was
so typically,
before the meeting,
typically,
before the vote.
if you have an Australian ballot vote, you have to have an informational session, not more than 10 days. But it doesn't work that way in this specific instance. You just have to have the one public hearing before the vote. That's
Does it
the
matter
rule.
what time before?
It does not, except that it cannot be earlier than 15
Got it.
days after you received the draft ordinance, which ordinarily we would have been fine to schedule it at any point because you came in August and give the draft ordinance, but with this unknown of the complaint, if you would like to be very conservative, this is your option,
Anytime after the 23rd.
anytime after the 23rd.
well, I think in order, just to be safe that we don't have to change it once again, why don't we just set it for sometime after the 23rd? I mean, it would have been nice to have it on the 22nd, but that's okay.
It's only 14 days, so.
Yeah.
Unless the select board would like to plan to call a special meeting earlier than October 8th to accept
Oh,
the
I
draft
see.
ordinance from the planning commission, which is
If,
also an
if
option.
they decide that they're
If
going
they
to,
decide that that's what they're.
a lot of
going
ifs
to do.
here. But you're thinking they probably will
I
do
think
their-
it's a safe bet
that
that,
they will.
that the flood hazard ordinance will be coming back to the select board. Because the other option would be for them, for the planning commission to ratify their previous,
Correct,
which would not change the timeline, but
correct.
frankly, given the nature and tenor of the complaint, I think, we should probably plan for the split, for the planning commission to void and revote, because that is the cleanest option.
I agree.
Make a motion. Well, we needed
A
a
date.
date agreeable first.
Um,
And I want to make a motion, everybody go, no, not that night, or.
So I personally cannot do Wednesday, the 23rd, because that is rescue squad's meeting. Do we want to do Thursday, the 24th?
I don't think Thursday's a good day for people.
that's not for me, but you don't.
24th of what?
Of October,
In October,
That's a Tuesday.
or you could.
not good for which people, no, us people?
All right,
Or you could do Tuesday, October 29th,
24th is the VO.
24th is
Tuesday the
VLCT.
29th.
Yeah, that's what 24th is, the Vermont Law School.
VLCT, or Vermont Law School, yeah.
I can do that.
Monday,
Tuesday.
the 28th.
29 on Tuesday?
That's a regular planning commission day, or no, it's not.
No, it's not. It's actually the 5th Tuesday of October, so nobody else should be having.
Yeah,
a meeting
it was
that
a
day.
weird-
It's my birthday and I don't wanna be there.
Have a cake here.
Well.
We only need
Everyone else is
3
gonna
for.
be
Yeah, exactly.
Then you could.
Yeah.
Or you could come,
I mean,
with any, I don't imagine that it will be a particularly long meeting, and then you could insist that everybody buy you a drink at Gloucester at that
right,
time.
right, just have but this is a public meeting. This
It
is,
is
I
a
mean,
public, it's
it's
a
a
public
public
hearing
hearing.
on the flood hazard ordinance before. the-
Right.
Yes.
and it's gonna be at the Royalton Academy.
No, I think we have it right here.
Presumably, or we could do it here. If we do
I
it
would-
here, we have better access to technology.
Yeah, and frankly, I would not anticipate a huge turnout. We had, the planning commission had 2,
Maybe because it
Public.
wasn't warned.
no.
It was properly warned.
It was properly warned, and actually there was an individual mailing that went out to every,
It didn't go
Every-
out
no.
though, my God.
It went out.
Just so you know, people.
I know
did
it
not
didn't
get
make it to everyone, but
People
it
did
went
not get
out. It was properly warned. It went out, and then there was a second public hearing at which 2 people showed up.
Let's decide on a date.
Yeah, just pick a date.
What's the 30th look like? Is that not a good one?
It's a Tuesday?
It's a Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
But it's at
I
the end
can
of
do it if it's real short.
Is the 29th Tuesday's a bad day for
You
you?
can,
I
you
mean,
can
it's your
go for it,
birthday.
you can go for it,
Yeah.
I might not show up, I mean, I might not show up, I don't think I have to.
So the
As long as we have a
20
quorum.
Tuesday, the 29th is fine. Monday, the 28th is the regular rec committee meeting at 7. So they always meet on the last Monday.
So let's not do that.
Tuesday, the 29th.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Mayor,
Sure.
I'll bring you a gift.
You might get a lot of gifts on your birthday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
come on, who else are you gonna?
What time will it be?
Are we doing a 6:30?
Sure.
That's it. It's a time people are used to, you can't start thinking that much. Well, okay. Yeah, no. I don't think the all will pick that up,
And,
the newspaper.
and so for the warning, if it starts at 6:30, should we also include an ending time?
It's always dangerous at a public meeting.
Not to include one.
It's an informational meeting
It's
for
a
people
public
to get a
hearing.
public hearing
I
to,
would say. I
Yeah,
would say 45
information.
minutes.
So if we posted it as 6:30 to 7:30, that
60 or 7:15.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the timer. Sorry. I
Well,
knew
and on that-
we were gonna get blasted on that.
on that night, if we decide that because
Yeah.
there have already been 2 public hearings and this is the 3rd and
Right.
we want to make sure that everybody gets heard, we can make whatever rules we want that
If
evening.
this place is packed, well, it's gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3 minutes and we understand it could go there.
Mhm.
For something. A lot of times you hear the same thing.
so the format of a public hearing is is there a presentation of information? Or is there just people speaking about, well, asking questions? Who is,
We gotta tell the people what the ordinance is, you gotta read the ordinance.
Yeah.
Open it up for discussion.
I think it is a presentation because this. If it gets re-upped again, there might be more. People getting fired up outside who are gonna come in looking for it, you know. So, I think we do have to do an explanation, have the planning commission do an explanation.
A brief
Yeah,
explanation. Yeah.
brief. Do we need a motion to set a date? I don't think so, do we?
I don't think so, no. I don't think you need a motion.
So I would suggest the Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday, 29th?
6:30.
Bring your gifts.
Here.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Flyers up everywhere.
No, 3 places.
definitely at the Academy building?
That's one of the 3 places there it's supposed to be.
Just briefly, I know there's not an other, so I'm just gonna throw it out there that sourcing the material for the bridge decking is proven challenging.
Oh, really?
The better material, yeah.
Hmm.
But I'm still working on it, but they didn't. We weren't syncing up and all of a sudden when they realized the size of the order and that they were backing up a little bit with their dates.
Hmm.
Not too many places cut Tamarack, so. We're gonna see an availability of builders as I've been shoulder tapping people.
Oh.
And we still have like 3 or 4 ditching projects that we need to wrap up, so. All right, working on it. All right. Can I ask one thing? Because I didn't bring my laptop. Can I, when we go to, before we go to executive session, can you give us a printout of what the different percentages are?
Sure.
Because I just looked through my stuff and I didn't bring my laptop today. You
Yep.
have it. It's good.
Before we go, we're gonna put in, the Two Rivers request for their. You put that in before we go into executive session?
Yeah, for the flyer, is the board fine with it? I did ask them to change the font color over the gravel road so that it was more easily readable.
Good call.
But I don't know if anyone had anything else or other.
No,
No, that's,
I saw 2 versions. One was just like a word thing, and then the other was a little bit more flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, cause there's a poster and then there's like the newspaper,
Right, the
Yeah.
poster,
front porch forum type of.
that was up fine there.
Didn't vote.
No, it's administrative.
Okay.
Can you print that?
Yes, I will, once we're in executive session.
Okay.
And then I'll
I would like,
depart.
can we go?
I think we have everything, there's a couple of
Contractor
things on
policy.
here, but,
Gravel pit?
there's probably nothing.
Oh, gravel pit.
Yeah,
So those are just your standard lingering.
Oh, the other thing is the contractor policy is about, only hiring contractors. The proper
insurance.
insurance. Including, workman's comp if they have employees.
Yeah, so we actually have a contractor policy that I can revise and bring back to the board.
That'd be good. Okay. And, it's fairly weighty when we're doing FEMA work. You know, those are not small.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's based on. Size. I'd like to make a motion to go to executive session, with the select board only.
Did we have anything on the gravel?
No.
Okay. Second on that?
To discuss. Personnel?
Personnel.
Personnel.
Stuff.
I was gonna say, I need a little select board person's room too.
I'm putting everybody in the waiting room and I'll bring you back after the executive session.
Victoria,